Hi everyone, it's another beautiful spring day here in Canberra, so I thought it would be a good time for another video. Today I have language on the brain, partly because I'm running a workshop on language and our identity and emotions around language. That's coming up this week, but mostly because it's coming up for me personally. I realized this week that this is the longest time in my life, since I was 21, that I have been living exclusively in English. And that is a stunning thing to realize. And I have feelings about that. So I wanted to unpack that a little bit and invite you to unpack your feelings around languages that you do and, like me, don't speak maybe anymore. And yeah, I'd love to hear your stories around language. It's something I'm really passionate about, is seeing language not just as utilitarian, but as something that matters to us, that is personal to us, which is why I run a workshop around talking about this stuff. So one of the big triggers for me in noticing this week is I made my parents watch an old Chinese movie with me. I mean, it's not that old. It came out in 1994, so depending how old you are, you may think that is ancient. It's a Taiwanese movie called in English, Eat, Drink, Man, Woman. It actually was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Foreign Film in 1995. It's one of the first Chinese films I was introduced to. I definitely watched it in university, possibly in high school even before that, and several times since, but it's been a few years since I watched it. And watching it with them, I realized, wow, I really do know Chinese. Like, I understand this movie. I don't need the subtitles for most of this. I am catching so much nuance that isn't reflected in the subtitles. It's touching a part of me, hearing these conversations and everything that is additional to language that comes through. And it was really meaningful to me to get to sit down and spend that time in that world, so to speak. And it triggered something, it stirred something up, that is a world I haven't been in for a long time. Now, I'm very fortunate. I have family who really honour and respect the fact that Chinese is important to me, is a part of who I am. They embrace that piece of me, mostly through embracing my Chinese cooking and embracing the dumplings I make for them, for example. But, also my sisters make sure that their kids are aware that Auntie Tanya lived in China for a long time. They all have zodiac toys in their zodiac years that they adore, and other things, toys, clothes, things from China with Chinese on it, and books that are bilingual and things like that they get introduced to Chinese through me. If they have any questions or bring up anything connected to China, my sisters will call and have Auntie Tanya explain it. So they're all aware of that, and my family's very, they honour that piece of me, because and that's something that not a lot of families do for someone in my position, because you look at me and you don't think China when you see this face. I have plenty of stories of Chinese people being astounded when a language they didn't expect came out of my face, both in China and Australia. But I also have stories of being really embraced for that piece of my identity, and that's very meaningful for me. But yeah, the recognition that this is the first time I've lived this long in English, since I was 21, I'm realizing I've suppressed a lot of that. I've pushed down a lot of my Chinese language, especially over the last 6 months, because I feel like I have nowhere to express it, and it's hard, it's painful to have a piece of you that you can't live out. And I think a lot of people who have had to leave places that they were really deeply integrated with, or that they have a really strong emotional connection to, we step away from it, we distance ourselves from it, if only in some small way. We don't speak that language anymore, we don't seek out opportunity to speak that language, because when they are only small blips, it's another reminder of what we don't have anymore. And I wanted to bring that story to you. I don't have a resolution to it, I don't have a neat little here's what to do. I just coming to you in the middle of my story, in something that's come up for me and bubbled up for me this week, because I know I'm not the only one. I'm sure there's lots of other people, especially people who, like me, made unplanned moves, who weren't expecting to not be in a certain place. especially TCKs, like the ones I talk to and interview all the time, who didn't have a choice over the places they would grow up, over the languages they would lose, that they grew up speaking and then left a country through no choice of their own and lost that language and the grief that goes with that. There are so many ways that we get emotionally entangled in languages. If that's something you want to talk about, check out some of my resources. I've blogged about this, and like I said, I have a workshop on this, but I think so often we think about language in this purely utilitarian way. It's a tool that we use to get things done, and we neglect the conversations about the emotional impact of language, because language is not just a tool. Language is in so many ways a relationship. It's how we interact with the world, and therefore how we feel about relationships really matters. How we feel about languages really matters. Anyway, that's me today. That's what I'm thinking about today. I hope that you have some sunshine in your life wherever you are, and I'd love to hear your stories about language. Thanks for listening. Bye.